Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's enough light. It should be okay. It's 100th Monkey Story Time. A book by Adam Mansbach, illustrated by Ricardo Cortez. This actually makes me sad because look right there. What does it say? Yeah, this is what we've come to. The #1 New York Times bestseller. Total genius. Hey. Oh, bro, you like getting in that action? Look, I'm trying to. I'm not on camera. Okay, we'll go read them. And then after this, I'm going to tell you a story. Bro, what? You like, go away. I go put you down then. Okay, then. And off goes his tail. And you can see he shows the butthole. He shows the butthole. Okay, so Go the Fuck to Sleep by Adam Mansbach, illustrated by Ricardo Cortez. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I'm not going to read. For Vivian, without whom none of this would be possible. The cats nestle close to their kittens. The lambs have lain down with the sheep. You're cozy and warm in your bed, my dear. Please go to fuck to sleep. Oh, wait. You're supposed to. Like the librarians. Remember when we were kids, librarians? Also, I'm supposed to. I don't have my glasses. I don't know where they are. I don't care. Okay. But the blue blockers, because it's late and I should at least be using the blue blockers. But I know not where the blue blockers are. Oh, yes, I do. I can see them from here. Okay, well, they're right over there. The windows are dark in the town, child. The whales huddle down in the deep. I'll read you one very last book if you swear you'll go to fuck to sleep. The eagles who soar through the sky are at rest, and the creatures who crawl, run, and creep. I know you're not thirsty. That's bullshit. Stop lying. Lie the fuck down, my darling, and sleep. Oh. 'Tis a lovely shade of purple. The wind whispers soft through the grass, hun. The field mice, they make not a peep. It's been 38 minutes already. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Go to sleep. But to take the Lord's name in vain. #1 bestseller. All the kids. All the kids from the daycare are in dreamland. The froggy has made his last leap. Hell no, you can't go to the bathroom. You know where you can go? The fuck to sleep. There's the froggy. You see the froggy? The froggy's over here. There he is. See the froggy? Yeah. The owls fly forth from the treetops. Through the air they soar and they sweep. A hot crimson A hot crimson rage fills my heart, love. For real, shut the fuck up and sleep. I never had any trouble putting my boys to sleep, ever. Never once. The cubs and the lions are snoring, wrapped in a big snuggly heap. How come you can do all this other great shit, but you can't lie the fuck down and sleep? The seeds slumber beneath the earth now, and the crops that the farmers will reap. No more questions. The interview's over. I've got 2 words for you, kid. Fucking sleep. Who read this book? And this was rather expensive. I did not buy this. This was gifted to me. Bro, are you kidding me? $14.95 is what it's listed at. I bet you they paid that too. $15 for this book. Okay. The tiger reclines in the simmering jungle. The sparrow has silenced her cheep. Fuck your stuffed bear. I'm not getting you shit. Close your eyes, cut the crap, sleep. I bet you that's Vivian right there, not sleeping. The flowers The flowers doze low in the meadows and high on the mountains so steep. My life is a failure. I'm a shitty ass parent. Stop fucking with me, please, and sleep. I said, I never had trouble. I never once had trouble putting my boys to sleep. I would put one boy under this arm and I would put the other boy under this arm and I would read them stories and they would doze off. Although my one son, who is currently in Vietnam in a Buddhist temple, where they allowed him to purchase Wi-Fi. Anyway, but he can only send short messages. It's amusing. So it's like back in the old days, 7 years in Tibet, where we're sending text back and forth, and they're super short. Anyway, oh, cool. The giant pangolins of Madagascar are snoozing as I lie here and openly weep. Sure, fine, whatever. I'll bring you some milk. Who the fuck cares? You're not gonna sleep. Aww. This room is all I can remember. The furniture crappy and cheap. You win, you escape, you run down the hall, and I nod the fuck off and sleep. But yeah, my older boy often tried to convince me that he was nocturnal. And I was just having a conversation with the two of them, and they both told me, yeah, they they always didn't want to go to sleep because they were sure they were going to miss something because something always happens when you go to sleep, especially if I took them to a party. But even then, I could put them to sleep. Easy. I had the easiest sons in the whole wide world. Easy, easy, easy. Anyway, bleary and dazed, I awaken to find your eyes shut, so I keep my fingers crossed tight as I tiptoe away and pray that you're fucking asleep. Aw, finally down. Oh, Dad, you gotta cuddle. They go sleep easy when you cuddle. We're finally watching our movie. Popcorn's in the microwave. Beep. Oh shit! God damn it! You you've got to be kidding. Come on. Go the fuck back to sleep. Yeah. Because the microwave. See, and there see little, oops, where's my finger? Over here. There's the little child who, yeah. Anyway, I'm nocturnal, Dad. The end. Okay. Time for Uncle Mikey's Story time. No, wait. Time for 100th monkey story time. And I don't want my notes. I gotta get my shoot. They're way over there too. We'll just leave it like this. Okay. There's this country called China. We're gonna go back in time. And way back when this is a very proud country. There's another country called Persia. We're gonna talk about them some other time. Today it's China. China, very proud, considered themselves kings of the world, the greatest of the empires, etc. And everybody else heathens. So they traded with the heathens to get silver. And they traded spice and and they've been doing this for a long time. That whole thing about the Great Wall of China, that was the Great Road of Rome to China. And it was basically a pathway along the Silk. Okay, so what they were doing is trading usually silver for goods. All right, so that means a lot of silver went from, say, Europe and Britain to China because we didn't really produce, when I say we, they didn't really produce anything that China wanted. So they just took silver. So the trade, they would get porcelain, fine china. Where it got to the point where the porcelain, all of it came from China. So they just called it China. Um, Again, spices, all manner of incense, silks and textiles, all kinds of stuff that China produced in abundance that the West wanted, and China wanted nothing but silver. Okay, so it drained a lot of the silver out of Europe because you know peppercorns were selling for silver. Okay, and if you've ever seen a peppercorn tree, so fast forward. Okay, and this has been going on for a long time. So there's these guys. They're called Masons, keepers, and secret societies. All these guys. All right, and they're pirates, and they've had their fingers in trade forever. And they see that, man, all that silver's gone to China, and they want it back. So, and then and Japan comes into this also because their ports were closed and we had to go over there. And, okay, but long story short, uh, it was violence that opened up their ports and opened up the trade. And because we didn't have anything they wanted, we sold them drugs. We sold them opium. And America gets involved in the story. Delano family. You may have heard of them, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yeah, those guys. That was his. They married, and it's a middle name. Anyway, the evil, they worship the wrong peoples. Okay, so they get the Chinese hooked on opium, and then they tell them, "You guys no can buy opium unless you use silver." I can tell you, I was there. It's been 20 years now. But the last time I was there, and it's only 20 years, they were still mad about it. They had museums. They weren't letting the British or the Americans forget what happened at the turn of the last century when 1800 turned into 1900. They're still pissed about it. Okay. And they got that silver fair and square, by the way. They traded for it. And they gave goods in return for silver. All right. So now what we have is all that silver was in the West in various vaults, and China want the silver back. And on top of that, okay, and then we got to tell a little backstory also because there's bankers from the West, and there's bankers that basically they own United States corporation, and therefore guys like Donald Trump are middle managers. But because the banks own the corporation. The corporation was formed to prosecute. This is a person that prosecutes trafficking, human traffic. They bond free men on the North American continent. That's what they do. That's what it's for. Okay, not all these bankers get along. And the Chinese bankers are not the same as the Western bankers. And the American bankers are not the same as the European bankers. And then there's Indians, but like I said, we'll talk about them and Persia another time. This is China. Okay, so China currently exacting revenge on the Masons and bankers of the United States. And they did a couple of things. They did first, they used the good old-fashioned spying and bribery to infiltrate the government to the highest levels. But there is a fuckery at foot where the American bankers, and by the way, they're all evil. They all none of the we have no friends. These are all guys that worship the elder gods. They worship the god of this world. Let's put it that way, which is, in their opinion, not Christ. Christ is not the thing that they worship. We'll leave it at that. Okay, so the idea is there's a little war going on, and the Chinese understand the very simple concept that the Achilles heel of the bankers is silver and gold, but silver. So what are they doing? I can see, and if you can read the writing on the wall, what they're going to do is they're going to back their currency with gold and silver. The most prosperous nation on the planet did that. And while they were on it, right up until this 1971, when I was born, the slaves were still getting paid in silver. Minimum wage was like 5 silver quarters. Those 5 silver, how much them 5 silver quarters worth today? Go look. Okay, they took the silver out of our pockets, they took the gold out of our pockets, and they gave us paper, and that paper system is about to collapse like it always do. It never doesn't collapse. Just because we're world reserve currency and we got the biggest military, and it doesn't matter. It's the same every this time is not different. The one time where things are actually different is the silver market. Things are in fact different at the silver market right now. They're out of silver. So what I was supposed to do was make this thing on Friday, but I was consuming content, and again, you cannot make content when you're consuming content. But after consuming quite a bit of content, and see, it's great because I ran across quite a bit of information that some things I hadn't even considered or thought of when it comes to this gold and silver bull that we're about to get into. Yes, it's overbought, but people are not done buying. So the chances that it's going to go back down, yes, I can see. I can read a graph just like anybody else. And yes, it spends most of its time below these prices. These are record highs. But understand, we have just completed a 44-year cup and handle, and it's got a ways to go from here. Not to mention, even if there was supposedly abundant supply, there would still be quite the move with a cup and handle formation being breached like this, just technically speaking. However, unlike the other times in the past, there is no silver. Everybody taking delivery, they have drained the warehouses. They got away with papering it over for over a year, and all the way to this September, September 27th. And finally, people have looked around and went, oh, they don't have silver. So I don't know what happens. We're in uncharted territory. Certainly, I don't have a prediction. I know the price is going higher. I know that much. How much? How fast? No idea. Do the system break over this? This could possibly be because I know what China want to do. They have figured out that the tool of enslavement, and so have some of the people in United States corporation and outside United States corporation. See, these persons are fighting with each other. They use the person, and see, the person known as United States has one hell of a military. But ooh, China give them pretty good military too. But they don't really want to use their militaries, although they are now saying 100% chance of nuclear war. But they don't really want to use their militaries because the whole point of China taking down the United States is they like the farmland because they're looking to feed billions of people. The farmland no good if it's radioactive. However, these people are in fact psychopaths. So 100% chance nuclear war. But that's a whole other thing. That's Persia and Israel and so this is just China and United States relations right now. And China is figuring out that the way they take down these fucking bankers and United States also the same bankers that China want to take down, United States also want to take down them bankers. So they kind of have an uneasy alliance because United States and China, okay. And then Russia, you got to bring Russia into the thing. The three of them have figured out the way to take these fuckers down is with silver. So China, having studied history and seen that the most prosperous nation, we became the most prosperous nation on the planet for a while there because we had a gold and silver standard. And as soon as we went off of it, things went far, far awry. And the pirates pirated us and pillaged and pirated and pillaged. And actually, they did such a fine job, but actually, they got to the point where even some of the people that were benefiting from the pirating and pillaging got sick to death of the pirating and pillaging. So, how are we going to get rid? Oh, silver. That's how. So, what's happening? Lo que paso es the Chinese, I can see it, are going to back their currency with gold. And they had to suck up a fuck ton of gold and silver. And the West, because they're idiot capitalists, all they had to do was like, hey, we'll pay you an extra $1.50. And sure enough, the West sold their silver to them for an extra. That was that milkshake thing where she just basically sucked silver from the West, drained the Comex and the LBMA. And then, see, here's the thing. These idiot bankers, the only thing they knew how to do was the same thing over and over again. And that's go short. All their shorts are underwater. They have not realized the losses, but when they do realize the losses, they're not going to handle the losses. They're going under, cause HSBC. If you know the history of that bank and how it was being used to funnel silver from China to the West using opium and other illicit substances, but mostly opium, heroin, the Chinese, they get long memory and they're going to take that bank down. And in Asia, a lot of it's not like United States at all. So some of these guys, rather than lose face, they will commit suicide, and some of them will be executed. And I get plenty of stories of them executing bankers. That's barbarous. That should never happen in the West. Well, in the West, this is who the Chinese are mad at. If you're wondering who they're mad at the Europeans, mostly the British in particular. Mad is probably not strong enough of a word. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the revenge. What you're going to see is silver go to and this. I don't know how high it's going to go, but I know it's going to go high enough to kill the bankers. And we have become accustomed to the Federal Reserve note system of debt. And that system is changing because it is the primary tool of enslavement. So it gets really complicated But a lot of the Masons fighting with the automasons, and by the time it's all over, there's gonna be a new system. They're gonna try and make it a system of enslavement wherein they use the Chinese system of credit score and all that, social credit score and all that tied to your currency. But see, a lot of Americans have figured out, yeah, man, I don't think we want that. So cash will still probably be a thing, but that cash may be in the form of actual cash, which is silver. Cold hard cash is silver. Cold hard cash is not paper, but we've been us slaves have been tricked into they've swapped it out right under our noses. So now we even call pieces of paper cold hard cash. I want cash. That's not cash. It's a piece of paper. And on top of that, it's a note. They're not even bills. They used to be bills. They used to be dollar bills because it was a bill. You could take the bill in and they would pay the bill with an ounce of silver. And depending on the bill, they would pay with an ounce of gold. Okay, that doesn't happen anymore. But it's about to happen again, and China is gonna be the one that leads the way because our government has been infiltrated by tiny hat bankers who are controlling the system anyway, and they use the FRN to enslave United States corporation and those subject to those would be called US citizens. So what do? They take your labor, they steal your labor, they pillage your labor. Everybody's killing our productivity and causing much problems. See, because here's the thing, many of the wealthy have figured out that, yeah, they are subject to the issues that are going on because they want to be safe when they walk down the streets too. And it's getting to the point where they're not sure if they can even get from the limo to the fucking restaurant. See, in the United States, that's never been a problem. I've been to places, Mexico, for example, Mexico City, where it's such a problem that the woman I was with, when her father allowed us to go clubbing, we had not just one car, we had 3 cars, and 2 of them, 4 guys each, all armed with automatic weapons. And not for little old me, they didn't give a fuck about me, it was the woman I was with, this guy's daughter. And we were in the big black limo, and it was great because we do the red carpet thing, and, because we went to an opening of a nightclub that she wanted to go to because all of her friends were there and stuff. Anyway, and they're out like, "Who the fuck is" looking like this, by the way. "Who the fuck is this guy?" They semi kinda know who she was, but they had no like, "Who?" Like, "Okay." Anyhow, side note, "A squirrel, look, a squirrel." But the idea being is that, the things is about to change to the point where that will be the case United States also, where they will not be able to get out in public without having because things could get to the point where, yeah, kidnap the daughter for ransom. Because crime goes up when things get rough. People who are comfortable and not hungry, they don't commit as much crime as people who are feeling desperate. And get a lot of Americans who are armed and feeling very, very desperate. And they angry and. And I'm not talking about the upper end of the political spectrum. I'm talking about the lower end of the political spectrum. They are mad. Okay, so we have some issues going on here. But the bottom line is in all of this, what you have is China is about to go I don't know if they're going to surprise or if they're going to how they're going to announce it, but they're going to tell you that they are backing everything by gold. They're going to go to a gold backed currency or a gold backed system similar to what we had previous to 1971 because this will lead them to prosperity and they know it because the debt-based system is bullshit and they're done with it. Now, oh, there's so much to talk about in this. It's hours worth, and I don't feel like it. I'm tired. So tomorrow I'm going to do 7 session Sunday. over on Facebook. If you can find Crouton Ramon, you can find Crouton Ramon on Facebook. It's Crouton Ramon's House of Math, and I'm going to do multiple sessions. Some of them will bore you to death because it's just going to be mathematics, but some of them will be on this topic right here. And doing the math, you got to do the math. If you do the math, and the stories are true, XRP is going much, much higher. And I have seen this before, where they crash the price and then the big boys scoop while it's down there and then shaking you out. But here's the other thing. Many people taking their XRP or that they bought two for a nickel back in the day that they're selling for $2.50, or, they were getting $3 for a little while there. And what are they buying with it? Silver and gold, platinum? Are they moving into commodities like the metals? What is one Bitcoin worth in metal right now? Are people selling some Bitcoin in order to perhaps buy some silver? And then they're going to find out that, they cannot convert a Bitcoin into silver. They might be able to convert it into pieces of paper that say silver, maybe SLV or something like that. But to actually take delivery of the actual physical silver, they seem to be out. And then you see that there's a supply chain. There's a problem all the way back to dirt. Okay, so they are, and here's the thing: many of the miners finally, and I don't know these guys, but I've seen these guys. They're dweebs. They own silver mines. They're 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 alpha nerds. They're male nerds. They're nerds because mining is actual serious business and it's hard work. But these guys, up until quite recently, were wussing out totally, like totally. But finally, it's getting to the point where like, nah, we're not going to sell you our silver at these prices. in in mine after mine, country, continent after continent, they have finally woken up to the point where, we know the price is going higher, so we're going to suspend for a little bit here. So, and then a lot of the guys who are, from the miners to the smelters to the guys that make coins and bars, all of them are it's we have a seizure. And then there's no more inventory. So there's going to be one thing, precisely one thing that fixes this, and that's price. And the price has to go up. Oh, I have a prop, or I had a prop. What did I do with my prop? Well, bro, I'm going to use my prop. Just how this goes. Did I put it back? I may have put it back. What it was a silver chain. And yep, I put it back. You can take one of that silver chain and you can trade it for like 80 silver chains, 79. You could easily get 70 gold chains for that one silver chain. Make the trade. There was a guy that was doing the math and saying that just some of these trades, people are making 50% just having bought gold at the beginning of the year. That's how much gold is up. In the last 30 days, silver is up 20% in the last 30 days. It's also up right around 60%, 65% on the year. And we're just getting started. Get plenty more year. So the moral of the story is you're caught in a crossfire of big boys having at it. And this is like blood feud from centuries back. The Chinese are getting revenge on the bankers who took their people and addicted them to heroin and stole their silver to boot. So now what the Chinese are doing is fentanyl. They were taking the silver back by paying just $1 over, and they know that FRN. I mean, come on. In 1980, what was the price of silver? And now with dollars that have been devalued, you can buy that same silver. $50 in 19. We were just talking about this in Costco. $50 in Costco. back in my day, would be a shopping cart. Just the other day, I walked out with a little box. Well, I could carry it. There was a honey in there. There was a $5 chicken in there. Uh, there was a bag of chocolate. Oh, that almost paid for itself right there. We'll talk about that in a second, or I'll actually make another video about that. But chocolate makes stem cells, and Costco had it on sale, and $65 of chocolate for 16 bucks. I mean, if I were to buy the same thing on Amazon. Okay, so that 3, 4, what was it? The fifth item was honey. I can't remember, but it was it was like just 5 items. It was 50 bucks, so $10 an item. But yeah, because it was, and although the chicken was $5, and then the chocolate, and then like I said, I don't remember, but it wasn't that big. It was just this much, and wasn't heavy. And it was 50 bucks. Back when my boys were little, 50 bucks would fill a shopping cart. Okay, this is happening. This is how fast. Okay, from here it goes faster. Like slow by slow, and then it accelerates. So the point of this diatribe is if you are caught in the crossfire of a big battle, silver is still at a ridiculously low price. You should have had your silver by now. Oh my God, I'm not telling you to buy silver at $50. But I was telling you at 10 and under 10 and under 20 and under 30. And I don't know how many times I said under 20, it's a gift. And it was a gift. And now all the people that bought silver at 20, you have 150% your money so far. And 20 wasn't that long ago. It's only going higher. It's going to become, and I have now heard the case, probably gold will also become unobtainium when it comes to Federal Reserve notes, because people that have gold are not going to give people physical metal for Federal Reserve notes. This is weeks away. Some people say it's sooner. Some people say, I don't know when this happens, but it's not very long from now where it becomes unobtainium in Federal Reserve notes. You'll be able to trade, like, people will trade physical things, and people may start getting paid again in silver, because the silver won't fluctuate the way the Federal Reserve note is. Because right now, the actual value of silver is not going up. It's just taking many more Federal Reserve notes to buy silver. It used to take 5. Now it takes 50. It used to take 250 to get an ounce of gold. Now it takes 4,000 about. Okay. The value of the money is crashing, and they're trying to tell you that it's not going to go to zero. It always goes to zero. It has never not gone to zero in the history of the fucking world. So I would expect that this one is going to go to zero too. It's just a matter of time and how long. And of course, the guys that are printing it are telling you, oh, it's not going to go to zero. What are they going to say? Yeah, it's about to go to zero, so you should probably. No, that's not. They're not going to tell you that. That's not how this works. But it's happening right in front of your eyes. Everything that the Mises and the Austrians told you was going to happen. So here's what happened. We're about to get a check mark, and you see the check mark say in XRP in a lot of the cryptos, because what do? They drive it down, they buy, and then they're going to drive the price up. That's old. It's old as the hills. That's the oldest story in the world. It's not going to be every crypto, but see, their XRP is about to be the new quote unquote gold, because see, the SWIFT system, very interesting, does not transfer money. The SWIFT system is a communication network that transfers orders. right? And it's two things. It's a promise to pay or it's an order to pay, but that's a whole other thing also. But these other guys are actually going to use XRP to actually move from one place to another. Okay, the way this works is you have XRP on both sides. So then you just send information back and forth, and the XRP itself doesn't actually move. The gold doesn't actually move. The instructions say that this over here is now owned by this guy over here. So technically, there's a transfer, right? So it's a system for moving funds. Okay, the Chinese system works 7 seconds. You move the fund from here to there, it takes 7 seconds. The SWIFT system take 2 to 3 days. I know this for a fact. 2 to 3 days or 7 seconds. What would you rather have? I think you'd rather have the 7 seconds, and so does everybody else, and that's what's going to happen. And again, the XRP cannot function the way it's intended at this price. It's too low. They want to move trillions. That's thousands of billions. Okay, but they don't want to pay. And see, these guys are doing the math where it comes to doubling and so forth, and they've got the whole thing of increase, and they got to go 100-fold, and it's easier to go 100-fold from say, $1.50 than it is $3, right? Because hey, you already got your first double from $1.50 to $3. But if you start at $3, now you got to go to $6 to get your first double. And anyway, they want to go 100 times because this proves their stupid manifesting skills because they're fucking Masons and blah, blah, blah. You're getting a chance to jump in with these guys who are going to show you that they can manifest 100-fold increase in some asset. Just saying. I'm just some crazy guy on the internet. I'm not even wearing a shirt. This is not financial advice. I'm not a banker. I have no licenses. But I'm going to tell you what other guy's not going to tell you because I'm pissed off at these guys. So anyway, I'm telling you, they're about to employ the law of increase. They're about to wipe out the middle class. They have hid nothing while they've been shoveling money into gold and silver in record amounts for months now. What the American sheep doing? Yo. They shot Charlie Kirk on my TV. I saw him. They shot him on the TV. Oh, look, he's got a sombrero on. Meantime, things is about to change. Okay, Crime Stoppers. That's too much time already. Like I said, I will make a series of 7 for 7 Session Sunday at Crouton Ramon's House of Math over there on Facebook, where I can speak freely because I cannot speak freely here. That must change. That needs be a change also. But all right, Crime Stoppers, educate self, educate others. You have time. For example, if you are here in Phoenix, the coin shops are flush. Everybody said, come on down. I'm hearing about all these shortages, but here in Phoenix, I know for a fact, I called these guys up and everybody said, no, we got coins. But I bet that changes by Christmas. Okay, e pluribus unum, educate self, educate others. This is one where you want to take some action. Take some action. Get off the couch, or at least go to eBay, but do something. Get some soap in your hand. E pluribus unum, Crime Stoppers. Educate self, educate others. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.